Hello and welcome to episode number 8 of the Hobbies and Happiness podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Dan.
And I'm Jim.
And today is exciting. Today is the Magic the Gathering episode.
Here it is.
You ready for this, Jim?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get into it. Let's go. So Jimbo, before we get into this, we just had the weekend. We got off kind of a beautiful Mother's Day weekend.
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed some good time with your mom.
Yeah, we had a fun time. She got upset during our game, but that's besides the point.
And of course, you would play a game with your mom.
Yeah.
Of course you did. Why does that not surprise me?
We've been playing games for a while.
And that's awesome. That's awesome. So I played a couple of great games this weekend. I played Monopoly Deal. Have you ever played that?
Monopoly Deal?
Yeah, it's Monopoly, but it's a card game version of Monopoly.
Oh, I was thinking like Deal or No Deal Monopoly.
No, dude, it's Monopoly, but it's in a card game.
Okay.
And immediately when I just heard Monopoly card game, you know, whenever I hear card game, my ears just perk up, and I'm like, what card game? What? Yeah. So I was all about it, and dude, it's fun. So it's funny. So we're playing it, and then as soon as I get into it, I pull up my phone, Amazon Monopoly Deal, buy. So I was all about it.
We're gonna have to play this one soon.
Yes. So
is it better with more than X people?
You can play. It's like 2 to 5 players, but it was fun. And we played with 5 players.
Yeah.
And so it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm all about that. So that was fun. And then the other game that I played yesterday, I don't know if you saw the picture I posted in the Discord. Which, by the way, we have a Discord.
Yes.
We have a Discord community. So if you have not yet, check out our Discord and just come hang out with us and all of our friends over on our Discord server. It's a lot of fun. But I posted in the Photo Shares channel, me, my wife, and brother-in-law, we played Villainous last night.
Oh, yes.
Oh, dude, I love that game. Sometime soon, we are going to have a Villainous episode.
You said you went 2-0.
2-0 with Gaston.
Oh,
that was fun. Gaston, I didn't know. I was kind of wary about playing Gaston. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but it was fun. Gaston was more of was an easier character to play, not as convoluted as villains like Ursula.
Oh yeah.
Or Lady
She's
Tremaine.
She's a lot of fun too, though.
Oh yeah, they're all fun, but each has like its own varying skill level, I guess, or basically how complex the character is. Gaston was pretty easy, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
So you're saying he's meta.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was fun.
Gaston wears a red shirt. I wonder what he would be. All right.
You know what? Is actually I mean red. I get it.
Yep. We're there.
All right. So with all of that, I hope you all enjoyed your Mother's Day weekend. If you haven't yet, go tell your mom you love them. You know what? Just even if you already told them, tell them again, because you know what? They love to hear it. So I hope if there are other mothers listening, I hope you had an enjoyable Mother's Day. So, all right. Well, with that, Dan, what are we talking about today?
Well, it all started back in 1993.
What started in 1993?
Well, I was born that year, Dan.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, it was.
Really?
I'm like a month older than Magic the Gathering, dude. So we're going to be talking about Magic the Gathering.
Yes. Jim, for both Jim and I, Magic has become a big part of my life, and only just because I enjoy playing it. It's so much fun. But Jim, Magic has been a real big part of your life, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've only been playing a little bit longer than you have, but it's taken up a whole lot of my life. I've made a lot of friends in this game, and we've traveled around the states. We've gone to a few different places, playing in bigger tournaments. So.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah, I think I've been to 3 tournaments now.
Okay.
I believe so. So
Cool. Yeah. So today we are talking all about Magic the Gathering. So I know in previous episodes we have kind of touched on it in the past. Today we kind of just want to do a deep dive on all about Magic the Gathering.
Yep.
To kind of get into the origins of Magic, where it came from, how it started, and then just kind of do a real deep dive on decks, formats, a lot of different things related to it. Because Magic, as we just said, big part of our lives. And we know there's a lot of you out there who love it, and we're not going to stop talking about Magic. We don't want to. We're not.
It comes up every now.
We're
and
not going to turn into a Magic podcast, but there are a lot of topics that we want to touch on that revolve all around Magic. So this is kind of the first big one. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Magic, I kind of hope and envision this episode as kind of being your gateway into what it is, what it's about, and why we enjoy it so much.
Yep.
So with that being said, where we want to start is there's this fantastic article. We will link it. We will link it in the description and in the show notes.
I learned a whole lot from that.
It is a fantastic
There's
article.
So much stuff there I did not know.
So the article is on SeattleMet.com, and the title of the article is "Spellcasters: A Magic the Gathering Origin Story." So we'll kind of do a quick summary here, but you should read it, even if you don't know anything, or if you know a lot about Magic the Gathering. Read it. It's a fantastic article. And really kind of, it opened my eyes a little bit, taught me some things that I did not know about Richard Garfield. Richard Garfield is the founding developer of the
mastermind
game.
The
mastermind behind it. It was funny. As we're reading it, there's a bunch of old pictures on it. And that one where they're on front of the chalkboard. And you mentioned this to me while you're reading. You're like, is that Ice Age? So like on the chalkboard, they had like the drawing of like the card back.
Yeah.
And on one of them, they wrote Ice Age, which Ice Age was an expansion. One of the expansions, was it? It was?
Yeah, it came out eventually, but Ice Age was one of them.
Yeah, so that was it was kind of cool just seeing that old picture. And then there was another old picture where they had a picture of the original playtest cards by Richard Garfield and some of the newer cards, just like where it started, and it's like that meme where it started, how it started, how it's going type thing. It was kind of funny.
You versus the person they tell you not to worry about.
Yes. Well, it's funny too because those playtest cards. So when Richard Garfield designed those playtest cards, he had to just use whatever art he could find, right? So he used stuff from Calvin and Hobbes. So there was art from Calvin and Hobbes, art from D&D, which D&D is a huge, I did not know this actually, huge not a precursor, but an inspiration for the game. So Richard Garfield was the designer of Magic, right? But he was working with Peter Adkins. That was his name, correct?
Yeah, I believe that's how it's pronounced.
Peter Adkins was the founder of Wizards of the Coast, which now we know this. Wizards of the Coast, the name came from a D&D session. Now, what did you tell me about that name? You were wondering if it came from this, right?
Yeah, so in D&D, there is a thing called Sword Coast. So I was kind of like, I wonder if there was some kind of one shot that they were doing or a campaign where there were some wizards on this coast. So it's Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
It's a possibility.
I wanted to look into that. So as we were going through this article, there was one quote that I read you, Jim.
Yes.
And I want to know what you thought about this, because when I read it, I'm like, isn't that just super interesting? So Richard Garfield said this. He said this was kind of his elevator pitch for the game. So when he was chatting up Peter Adkins, there was another person involved in this conversation. I can't remember who it was offhand. But they told him to come up with a design. And initially, his thought was he wanted to come up with something that was quick and portable that could be played in lines at convention centers, like at game conventions, right?
Yeah.
So his quote was, imagine a card game where there are hundreds of cards, with more being made all the time. Some cards are rare and some are common. You build a deck with whatever cards you want. You have no idea what's in your opponent's deck. And then you duel. Commander. That is Commander.
Yeah.
Because Commander, it's the pool, the card pool is massive. It's pretty much all the cards that are in existence, with exception to whatever the Commander ban list is. It's not very big.
Yeah. Imagine there's a game where there's 100 cards.
Yeah, 100
specifically
cards.
in a deck. And but when Dan told me this, I've never heard this before. And a few years ago, Richard Garfield actually created a new card game. I couldn't remember the name of it to save my life. And then Dan was like, oh, it's Keyforge.
Keyforge, yeah.
And so Keyforge came out, and it's not like any of these other card games.
No, it's not.
It's you buy a pack of cards, and that's the deck.
Yep.
So you don't know what's going to be in there. You don't know what's going to be in your opponents.
Yep.
You're not throwing together anything that's ridiculously powerful that you found online. You're just playing the cards that you were dealt with.
Yeah.
So it goes back to his original thing, that quote we just talked about.
Yeah. Yeah. So I kind of thought like Keyforge that was really, from a designer standpoint, that was really kind of what he was trying to come up with. And I have not played Keyforge yet. It's something that I kind of not necessarily want to get into, but I want to try it. I want to see how it is. I know Covenant. I know those guys over at Team Covenant, which, by the way, Team Covenant, guys, if you have not listened to their podcast, check out their content, check out their podcast. A huge inspiration to us. I love all of the stuff that they do. I'll link them down in the show notes, but check them out. Give their content a listen. Check them out. They're fantastic guys over there. So we'll pitch them. But they've talked about Keyforge quite a bit, and I've been interested in a long time about just sitting down and playing it, but I never really took the dive and kind of got into it.
I've only ever played it once.
Oh, so you have played it?
Yeah,
okay.
I've played it. It's a really strange game because you can either win by destroying your opponent, right? Or you can build enough of these key fragments, and then you get these keys, and that's how then you also win. Yeah. So it's not just the thing of, oh, I'm going to beat you down.
Their life total. Yeah,
exactly. So you have more than one way to win.
Right.
And it's not my kind of game because I like to put a lot of work into deck building, and theory crafting is huge for me.
Yeah, right.
So it's so difficult for me to just be like, oh, I got a sealed product that I have no idea or I have very little experience with.
And and that's the thing, like from a card game standpoint, it's very odd.
Yeah.
But I'm still very intrigued with it because, especially coming from the mind of Richard Garfield, I'm very interested just to see how it plays. Yeah. So
it is a good one though.
Yeah. It's very interesting. But anyway, check out this article. There's a couple other things in here that was very interesting. So towards the end, so with Magic spawned Pro Tours starting, I think it was in 96.
Yeah, 96.
I think 96 is when the pro scene started for the game.
So real quick, Dan.
Sure. Yeah.
So I know we're talking about the pro scene and whatnot, but there's some things we have to really think about, right? What cards were they using in these tournaments? And there weren't any sleeves. There were no sleeves in this tournament, Dan. People shuffling, throwing down Black Lotus on the table, bare naked. Okay, card that can be worth a lot of money.
How much? A signed Black Lotus.
Oh, let's not talk about signed, Dan.
Okay, all right. So let's talk just not signed. I mean, what's the market?
So if
was it 50?
So
50K?
If we're talking about original one, yes, it can be. It's pretty much at that point. If we're talking about the latest one, which I believe, or the oldest one, which is, or the youngest one is unlimited. So you have
right.
Which is the white border one.
Right.
That one is a lot less. So in that range, we're talking between like 6 and 12. So still a decent number.
Still a good chunk of change.
But not like 50 to 250K like the alpha can be.
Right.
So but yeah, you still think about, and at that point, how much was the card? I don't even know how much the card was back in 96.
If you watch those videos, dude, it's like it sends shivers, like going convulsions because it's like, oh my goodness, that's crazy.
And they're doing the normal riffle shuffle you do with playing cards, and they're like bending cards at 90 degrees. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Oh man,
it's dude. Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, talking about the pro scene, right? So there was this player, and I can't remember who the player was in this article,
Yeah.
but that's why you should read the article, right? So anyway, his name's Gary, and he always wanted to play Richard Garfield, right? In the game that he created.
Yep.
So it turns out Richard Garfield isn't very good. but this quote was very interesting. So they say his thinking was always as a designer, says Gary. Whereas a player looks to exploit systems and find advantages, Richard thinks, how do I craft this experience? What's the emotional reaction like for the player? How does this system work together? Garfield always loved playing with games, after all, but having unlocked the formula that would click with so many players around the globe and influence everything from Pokemon to World of Warcraft, what's left to tinker with? So, like, that's an interesting thing because, like, you think about it, a designer is gonna approach a game completely different from a strategic player trying to maximize efficiency and basically beat your opponent and win.
Yep.
It's very interesting because
you can definitely tell Richard Garfield loves some D&D.
Oh yes, totally. And that's another thing. As I'm reading this article, I'm like, okay, I freaking have got to play D&D.
Yeah, because they talk a bit about it at the start of the article.
They talk a lot about D&D. Yeah. It's crazy. So now
Wizards owns it.
Yes. Yeah, so go check out the article. There was one other thing in here that was very interesting. So people also like to ask Richard Garfield what his favorite deck to play is. And so his answer, he always says the same thing. I like to play whatever color people aren't playing. See if I can find a treasure there. Again, just going to like a designer's mindset and it's very interesting and it's cool. So definitely check out that article. It's a very good read and just some interesting history to learn. So there's one other thing. So Magic spawned an entire industry. Am I right, Jim?
Yeah, they were the first collectible card game.
Yes. Yeah.
So which later turned into TCG trading card games, but
but yeah, I mean the impact that Magic had on the industry cannot be overstated. Yeah. I mean, it is very, very insane. So talking about the origin of kind of where it came from, right? So Magic consists of 5 different colors, right? So cards, there's 5 different colors that cards can be, right?
Yep.
So you've got white, black, blue, red, green. I know I went out of order. I'm sorry.
For those who know, yeah, he did.
It's Wooburg. W for white, U for blue, B for black. See, because you can't have 2 Bs. Yeah. And so they chose U for B instead of L.
Well, they couldn't have L because of lands.
Yeah, that's true. L's lands. So they went with U for blue. Red is R, and then G is green. So, Jim,
Dan, looking at this, I only see actually 3 colors here. For some reason, white and green's missing in my point of view.
You mean Grixis?
Yeah, I only see Grixis here for some reason.
So we've kind of talked about this. So when you start pairing up these different colors, right? Yeah. You have these color pairings and then shards.
Yep.
And there's basically it's your color combination. So in talking about colors, so the way they have it set up, if you ever looked at a Magic the Gathering card, on the card back, you will see in the center of the card are 5 colors, and they are shaped in the shape of a pentagram, right? So there's 5 sides. So if you look at a pentagram, each corner, is a color. All right. So I can't remember the actual order, but I believe the top is white.
Yep.
Left and right. So let's see if I'm right here. Left and right. I believe the left is green.
Okay.
And then the right, bottom left is white. Bottom right is black. That would leave the middle right.
Said white was top.
Okay, dude. Now I can't even remember. No, I don't remember.
It's very simple. It's Wooburg starting from the top, going in clockwise order.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So the top is white. So next would be blue and then black. Okay.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Oh no.
I did not know that. That was One thing I was actually thinking about in preparing for this episode, I mean, I've been playing, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
I've been playing something around there, but I'm always learning something new about the game. Like that article, the whole color combination. It took me a while to learn like the color combination names.
Yeah.
But even the color pie and like how it's shaped and where the colors fall, how the colors are paired, the friendly colors and the enemy colors.
Yep.
That's crazy. So can you explain the friendly colors and the enemy colors? Because we've talked about pairings and the combinations.
Yeah.
How do we get there and the enemy thing?
So
What is it?
all right. So for friendly colors, it's pretty much when you're looking at the color pie or the color wheel. And let's talk about blue. All right. Let's bring up blue. So blue itself is about knowledge and illusions. Okay. Its enemy colors being green and red. Well, let's think more about what blue is. Since they're looking for knowledge, they tend to be a bit more logical in things.
Right.
Red is about chaos and destruction.
Right.
They tend to be a lot more emotional when it comes to their thoughts. So you take the opposite of logical, you get more emotional actions.
Right.
So, and then let's go to green. Blue also tends to be about growth in, I guess you could say, not so much by nature, because that's what green is looking for, growing through nature, where blue is looking to grow through constructs.
Knowledge,
and more so meaning like moving forward and things. Green wants to grow through nature.
Right.
Blue wants things to grow because it's man-made. So through constructs, making these specific things. Right?
Okay.
So that's why they are pretty much our
sense.
Enemy colors.
Right.
And then we talk about friendly colors, which next to. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say. So going next to blue on the color wheel.
Right.
We have white, which is about protection and order. So since they aren't against knowledge, which, not necessarily against illusions either, but there's a lot more to these colors than just these two words.
Right.
So when you start to throw knowledge with protection and order, you start to get, law and order through gathering knowledge from people.
Wait a minute. You said law and order.
Dum 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 bam 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 wow wow.
Sorry, I could not resist.
So when we talk about the guilds, which these names came from, so white and blue is Azorius inside of Ravnica. And they are the police, pretty much.
Yes.
They are the ones that are like, oh, there was a murder going on over here. We need to find out what's happened.
I never really thought about it like that. No.
Okay.
I memorized it all. Like I know what they all are, but I never really thought about that.
So I
guess that's even cooler,
right?
That really is even cooler.
So we have the Azorius, who are pretty much the police, the detectives, and and then we go.
I hate Azorius.
Yeah, they tend to be control. A lot.
And I like playing control, but I do not like playing blue-white control.
Yeah, it's not bad when you throw in another color, but
yes,
as long as it's not green,
You don't like Bant?
No, Dan, I don't like Bant.
It has green in it.
I don't like Bant.
Yeah, Bant is the 3-color combination of blue, white, and green.
So the color combo I hate the most is blue and green, but my second one is green and white.
Your second most hated
one.
Gotcha.
So my second most hated one is green and white.
And green and white is
Selesnya. Yeah. Man, we could talk about like all of these guild names.
We could. I feel like that needs to be its whole a whole other episode.
Right? and don't get me wrong. So there are guilds for enemy colors. So we were saying blue and green are enemy colors because they value different things.
Right.
But now you're taking the knowledge that blue has to augment and mutate like green creatures. Right. So it's like we're gonna combine a shark with a crab.
Dude, that's my favorite card ever. I love that card just because it's so cool.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, it's the
card. The card is called Shark to Crab.
Yeah. So
when that came out, I thought, dude, that was like the best card ever. I love that card so much.
Yeah, there are some really cool cards out there.
Yeah, let's not talk about the other crabs.
Yeah.
Ruin crab. Oh god.
Ruin
crab and
Hedron.
Hedron's fine because it targets.
Yeah.
Hedron's fine because it targets, but ruin crab it hits every opponent. Oh man.
So let's get back to the thing with the blue, right? So now let's talk a little bit about black, blue's other friendly color, right? For black, we have death and selfishness.
So selfishness is a trait for black?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they will. So you think about the. They want to sacrifice other creatures to benefit themselves.
That's true. No, that's true.
They don't care about it, which
sense.
is something huge that black does.
Correct.
So we talk about the knowledge and selfishness. Let's bring up
like I said, I'm learning something new every single time. I'm like learning something new
all the time. Or let's talk about knowledge and death. Something about a spy. An assassin could also want to gather some knowledge if they're a part of Dimir.
Yeah.
A spy will take out whoever they need to get this information.
It's mind blown. Because again, I never really thought about it. Like I honestly, like when Ravnica came out, I was honestly just proceeding along. Okay, so I'm being told that this is what these color things do. I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. That's cool. But now knowing what like each individual color is and then how they all work together, it's like, okay, it's actually kind of really cool.
Yeah, they did a really good job in Ravnica.
Yeah, they did. Isn't Ravnica like one of the more popular planes?
Yeah.
So planes.
They've now gone to Ravnica 3 times.
They have, haven't they?
The original one, Return to Ravnica, and then Guilds
of Ravnica, right? So that's why everybody would say Return to Ravnica.
Exactly, Return to Return. Yep.
Oh man, it's very. So okay, so real quick, planes.
Yeah.
So planes. I mean, I guess we can talk about planes a little bit later when we go into lore. I guess we can talk about planes.
Well, real quick, all a planes really is, because I'm sure some people are going to want to know now.
Yeah.
All a planes really is just the world.
Yeah, it's a location, basically.
Pretty much the world.
Yeah. So that's what a plane is. Okay. So you. In talking about all of that, I again, mind blown, very, very, very cool. The way I kind of think about it in figuring out like enemy colors and friendly colors is you look at the color pie, right? Yeah. So you take a magic card, flip it over, look at the center where the colors are, how it's shaped in the pentagram. So you pick a color, right? Like red. You look at the colors that are directly adjacent to that color. Those are the friendly colors.
Yep.
Then the ones that are further away, those are the enemy colors.
Exactly.
See, I didn't know that until very soon ago, very not that long ago.
Yep.
So I was like, I always thought for the longest time, I thought there was just one friendly color. Like, so per color, there was only one other color that was a friendly color.
Okay.
And then one that was enemy. So that's why I was like, I had no clue.
Which is another reason why they have shards of Alara. Because it's the 3 colors right next to each other in the center. Okay. And there's 5 of those ones, I believe. Yeah, because the 5 colors.
Yeah, because the 5 colors. Correct. Oh, the shards, that's not, I never... Yeah.
Which
didn't even get into that either.
All right, let me just talk about one of the shards real quick.
Go ahead.
I think you might know it. It's Grixis. So let's talk about our bad guy inside Magic.
The big baddie.
Yeah, the big baddie guy. His name is Nicol Bolas.
Wait, I thought his name was the guy from Harry Potter. What's his name?
We don't say his name, Dan.
Oh, that's right. We don't say his name. My bad.
So, Nicol Bolas, his colors are black, red, and blue. So
Great colors.
Yeah.
Only when taken as a whole.
They're pretty great.
They are pretty good. Yeah, they're
And
good.
so for him to be the bad guy, the ultimate bad guy, he needs to be selfish as F, which he definitely is. He knows he's pretty much all knowing as well. So that's where he gets the blue.
The blue, yeah.
And destruction
from the red, yeah.
Yeah. So
again, mind blown. It's crazy.
And not to mention the other part of black that I have written down, death.
Yes. Yeah,
he has killed a lot.
Now that I think about it, there is not one part of Nicol Bolas that is either green or white.
He does not care about unity.
He does not care about unity. He does not care about nature.
He has armies of zombies.
Yes.
He does not care about unity.
He does not care about
You listen to me.
Dude, like the amount of thought that just we talked about storytelling a couple of episodes ago. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The amount of storytelling that literally goes into 5 colors.
Yep.
Isn't that, dude, that's crazy. To me, that's insane. That is so cool.
Yeah.
That is part of the reason that people like this game so much. Like there is a segment of people that just love Magic just for the storytelling.
Yeah. Which
cool.
honestly, so like I don't know a whole lot about the story in Magic, but when I learned the differences in the colors, I was like, I want to be the guy that pisses other people off in this game, right? I want to destroy things.
Wait, aren't you that way in every game?
Yeah, I am. So, like, I want to be the villain colors, and well, I guess not even just this game, but
yeah, just in general.
Which is so weird because it's not really like my personality at all.
No, it's not. It's not. But that's why it's so
games,
funny.
I want to bring chaos and destruction and death. And
well, it's funny because anytime I play with Jim, like in Commander, I never know who I'm going to sit down with when I play with Jim. I don't know what kind of game he's going to play.
Well, it depends. Is it after an hour and a half, you know exactly who that Jim is?
No. Even when I first sit down.
I'm saying in one specific game, because then I don't care who wins.
I know.
So you know that part.
I know that part. Is Jim going to do something? Well, answer this. Which decision will make the game speed up? Whatever choice will make the game speed up, that's what he'll do.
Yeah, eventually is what I'll do. Yeah, I don't care what happens. Yes. I'm not looking to win at that point.
Correct. Yeah, no, but it is very interesting to me. Just even the storytelling that just goes into 5 freaking colors.
I think I ruined your story though when you were saying you didn't know who you were going to sit down with when I played.
No, that's it. But honestly, when I sit down at the table, I ask myself, okay, how is Jim gonna play this game? Yeah. Is he just gonna be all crazy and just go, nah, we'll do that, or is he gonna like sit down and actually try and win and be competitive? Yeah, because sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't.
For Commander, I don't like really
Commander,
try though.
That's true. That's Commander. Not in Modern.
If we're talking about other formats,
right.
I'm gonna try and win.
Right. Yes. So. All right. So that's the color pie, and that was again mind blown.
We just talked a little bit about it. There's 10 different guilds.
Yes. Yes.
We just talked a little bit about Azorius and the other one, which is Dimir, black and blue, and we talked a little bit about Grixis.
What's your favorite pair? Your favorite color pair?
So I actually sat down and tried to figure out, because I thought it was Izzet, which is blue and red.
Blue and red,
right?
yes.
But after doing combinations so I would take the combination of 2 colors and add every other color so to make it 3 colors. So if it was black and blue, I would add green, be like, all right, how much do I like Sultai, right? I'd then take out the green, add white. How much do I like Esper? Take out the white.
Oh, I gotcha.
Add that. So, and then I did that for pretty much every single color pair.
Yeah.
And Rakdos is my favorite one.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me.
When going off of that.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. I'd have to go by that logic. I would have to sit down and think about that. But I think mine would be Golgari, which is black and green. Green is definitely my favorite color. My favorite shard is Sultai.
Which are also enemy colors.
What?
Golgari.
Yes.
Yeah.
Golgari. They are enemy colors. Yes.
Yep.
And my favorite shard is Sultai by 100%. But yeah, those are my favorite colors. In Magic, which green is my favorite. It's
actually a wedge.
Green is my favorite color.
It's a wedge, Dan. It's not a shard. It's not a part of Alara. It's not a shard. It's a wedge.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Now I get it. Now I think I actually get it.
Yeah.
There's again, dude. Like I said, we could talk like an entire episode about it.
This game has
crazy.
so much to it.
So the reason it's not a shard is because those three colors don't line up in the color pie. They're not all three right next to each other.
Yeah.
Because black and green are enemy colors.
Yep.
And then blue is enemy of green.
But friendly with black.
Right. Mm-hmm. So that's why it would be a shard. You'd have
wedge.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, I know.
Again, dude, it's all up here. It's way over my head. Like I said, new thing every stinking time I talk about Magic. It's crazy.
There's a lot to this.
Yeah,
this
there's so
IP.
much. Yes. All right, so let's talk about our first experiences with the game.
Tam, I want you to go first.
You want me to go first?
I really do.
All right, so my first experience. I think I've told this story before, but I was with a family member. And he's also into tabletop gaming, and we were I don't know why we decided this, but I think I brought it up of, you know what, let's get into Magic. Let's go try it out. So when I looked into it, I found out that they were doing welcome decks, and then I think they still do it.
Yeah.
You go to any game store and they just give you a deck of cards.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember how many colors it is. So we went to Grapple because Grapple was open. We picked up the welcome decks. We came back. I watched a couple of YouTube videos on how to play because I had no idea how to play. We sat down and played. It was
Dan's like, I still have no clue how to play.
Correct. I thought it was cool. And then I started watching content creators on YouTube who do it. And then I found out what a deck was, and it was during rotation. And there was a Goblins deck that was rotation proof. So I built the deck because it was relatively cheap.
Yeah.
Bought all the cards and then went to Friday Night Magic at Grapple and then played Goblins and had a blast. And it was fun. I got killed the first time I played because they were the guy I was playing with. So the deck involved, there was Rekindling Phoenix, there was Heart of Kirin, Chandra, Torch of Defiance, and what else? So those were the three big cards. I think those were the only three cards I saw the first match.
I think it was just the mono red list.
No, it was not a mono red list.
It wasn't even mono red?
It was not a mono red list, I don't think.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I guess this is a while ago.
Unless he was just playing good stuff.
But again, dude, those are the only three cards I saw that first match.
Yeah.
He did bring out Goblin Chain Whirler too.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a mono. Maybe it was.
I think it was a mono red list.
Maybe it was. With Heart of Kirin?
Yeah, it was a good card.
I know it was a good card. So was Rekindling Phoenix. When I read Rekindling Phoenix, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It does freaking what?
Yeah.
So I have to kill this thing twice
Yeah,
in order to remove it?
So Rekindling Phoenix, I believe, is a 4/3 with flying.
Mm-hmm.
When it dies, you bring out a token that is its egg.
0/1 token.
Because it's a phoenix. What does it do? It comes back.
Yeah.
So at I believe it's your next turn at the end, or at the end of a certain turn. I forget
beginning
exactly.
of your next turn, I think.
Okay.
I think it's the beginning of your next turn. The token goes away, and then your Rekindling Phoenix comes back.
I think it's at upkeep because then the egg states that it gets haste until the end of turn, I believe.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
So yeah, then at your turn, the egg summons
It was a totem.
bird.
It was a totem. I'm pretty sure it was a totem.
Yeah, it was a totem.
Yeah.
So yeah, the totem summons back the bird. So your one kill spell, or if you traded with it, then it's just like, well, you didn't really kill the bird, but you did. But it's back now.
Yeah, it's back. Yeah.
Good luck.
That card destroyed standard. That card was everywhere when it was the standard.
That card was really good.
Yeah, I remember when I got that card, I was so stoked. I was like, that card holds a very special place in my heart, just because that was really the first big card that I played against.
Yeah.
That and Chandra. Oh man, it was of course
Torch?
Chandra.
Was it Torch?
It was Torch, yeah, because
nice.
it was
Kaladesh.
yeah. Yeah, that was fun. And so the deck that I played was just goblins. It was a goblins tribal list. It was fun. It was not very good. Goblin Chain Whirler. Excuse me. No, it did not have Goblin Chain Whirler because Chain Whirler was pretty expensive. In the time because it was very popular in Standard.
Yeah.
There were the big goblins in that list was goblins Siege Gang Commander.
Yeah.
And there was another one, a Goblin Lord that pumped all your goblins, and then you could sack a goblin to destroy an artifact.
Oh, I don't think I know it.
I can't remember which one it was. I've got the art. I have the art in my head.
Okay.
It's the art in my head. But anyway, that was my first experience with Magic, and it was a blast.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun, even though I got destroyed that first game. The second game, I played one of our friends who was very young at the time, and I beat him, and I was so excited. And I'm beating this little kid. I'm like, yeah, sit down. But dude, it was fun, man, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So that was my first experience with Magic. All right, Jim, let's hear it. I want to hear it, man.
So
I think I've heard this story before.
Oh yeah, you have.
Yeah.
So this was my first experience, which kind of was also my last experience with it.
Yeah.
So I started playing, I believe it was 2013 or 2012, whenever Return to Ravnica was out.
There's Ravnica.
Yeah, here's Ravnica. So I was first, my sister got me into the game. And
she did?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Her boyfriend at the time played, and then she was like, "Oh, let's play this," because she knew I was playing. Yu-Gi-Oh back then. Yeah. I was playing Duel Masters as well. So, and so we get a fat pack for Magic of Ravnica, and we had some other cards as well. And so we pretty much split up the cards to where I had blue and red cards.
Okay.
And she had Golgari, right? Which is black and green.
Well, that's funny because when you thought your favorite color combination was Izzet and mine was Golgari.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
So yeah, that's what we were doing.
Okay.
And I played against my sister quite a few times, and she played a card, a very specific card that you could call Batman. It was Vampire Nighthawk. It is a 2. I think it's a 2/3. I don't even remember.
Yeah, it's a 2/3.
It's a 2/3
flyer.
flying Death Touch lifelink, and I hate this mother. to this day, Dan. To this day. This card.
And I'm looking at it, I'm like, there's nothing really special about that card. I mean, it's a flyer with Death Touch and Lifelink. I mean,
what it was I had nothing
no flyers
for it. Okay, that's what it was, and I got slowly beat in the face for 2 damage every single turn, and then she gained, and I was trying to burn people out and get card advantage, and that turned out to be a lie, Dan. Why? Because lifelink flyer.
Wait a minute. Come on, you were in red, and you didn't have any direct damage.
Dan, we had limited cards here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We had very limited cards, and this is when I learned that I was a big fan of Lightning Strike, because I didn't know Lightning Bolt existed, which is its better version.
Yeah, it's
Lightning Strike for 2 mana, deal 3 damage to any target.
Yep.
Okay, so I was like, Lightning Strike kills Vampire Nighthawk. Okay. But I think I only had like 1 copy. So I rarely ever got it. And I think she had more than 1 copy of Vampire Nighthawk.
Yep.
So I raged one night. I was done with Magic. I gave her all of my cards. I'm just like, take this. I am done with this effing game. So
that's funny.
Until a few years after I started in Kaladesh, a friend of mine, a guy I met at Grapple, he was overhearing me talking about Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and he was like, "Oh, hey, I got some Yu-Gi-Oh stuff." And I'm like, "All right, bring it next time." So I got some stuff off him for Yu-Gi-Oh. We were talking for a bit, brought up Magic, grouped up with him one day at Magic, FNM. Played in a tournament with one of his Rakdos decks. It was a Rakdos aggro list, so red and black aggro, and I had no clue what I was doing. Okay, no idea. I was taking Yu-Gi-Oh logic into this. I attacked with one creature, attacking their tapped creature. I'm just like, but you can't do that.
Yeah.
And had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
Wasn't even like taught this game at all.
Yep.
And I'm playing in a tournament.
Yep.
And I'm getting absolutely destroyed.
Yep.
And so, and then he went to basic training for like 6 or 9 months, something along those lines. And then he came back. Kaladesh was out at that time. We started playing more and more and more, and then the rest is history.
Yeah. And I remember playing this individual at Grapple FNM and got my booty handed to me.
He's pretty good. He's the guy I was talking about that I went to tournaments with.
Yes,
and it all started with Grapple.
Yep. There was, I can't remember the deck that I was playing, but we were playing standard.
Yeah.
And he beat me in like 3 turns because he was playing mono green Stompy. I can't remember. I think I was playing Goblins. My Goblins list.
Okay.
Galta. Yeah, a turn. It was either turn 2 or turn 3 Galta. Pretty sure it was turn 3 Galta. I'm like, Scoop.
I don't know if he played that deck. I think you're thinking. Are you thinking of someone else?
I'm not. No. I am not thinking of.
The only reason I bring that up is because he played the list and he was like, "I'm going to build this deck," and he still has that deck.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, and it was funny because after that, there's all this time left on the timer, and he's like, "You want to play Modern?" I'm like, "What is Modern?"
All right, yeah, that sounds like him. I bet he just borrowed his deck. All right.
I think he did. I think he borrowed that deck.
Okay, yeah.
Because he busts out his Modern decks, and he's like, "This one's $2,500. This one's $2,000."
and
I was blown away. I'm like,
and he's like, "Here's Jeskai. This is a cheaper one."
yeah.
Sitting at like 12 at that time.
So speaking of Modern, Jim, can you tell us about all these different formats that are available to play this awesome game?
Man, all right. So let's start off with something a lot of people are introduced early, which is standard.
Yeah, which is what I was introduced. Yeah. That's how I was introduced to the game. Yeah.
There's like two formats right now that people are introduced in. It's standard and commander.
Yep.
So standard being the last pretty much 2 years worth of cards. There's a thing in the
most
game,
recent 2 years.
Yeah, so it's between 5 and 8 sets depending on the time frame that you're at. So at the end of every year, September. At the end of September, there's a rotation that happens, and the oldest 4 sets are rotated out.
Which aren't the sets? Isn't it basically like a year's worth? It's pretty much just a year's worth of sets, correct?
Yeah, that's why I said 5. So because it's 4.
Right.
So as soon as that 5th set comes out, then it's all those cards in the last year at that point.
So speaking of standard, we're recording this in May of 2021.
Yes.
All right, Jim, what are the current standard legal sets? Can you name them?
All right. So we have Eldraine.
Okay. Fantastic.
Eldraine.
Which Eldraine is Magic's take on the fairy tales.
Yes.
Yep.
We have. I am not going to say these in order because I don't think I know the order.
That's fine.
Ikoria. Ikoria is one.
Big old monsters.
Yeah.
There's lots of Godzilla in Ikoria, which there's just like the Godzilla themed art.
Yeah. That's it. So I forget the third one that's after that, but then there's also Corset 21.
Yep.
Then we have Kaldheim.
Kaldheim, yep.
Which
is Norse mythology.
Yeah. And we just got Strixhaven, which is pretty much Harry Potter. Harry Potter. And what is the other one that I am having troubles thinking of? Or is there 2 more? What is that?
No, that was 5.
Yeah.
So that was 5.
So I'm missing one.
So is Eldraine, Ikoria.
Yeah, the one after Ikoria is the one I am missing. And I can't remember it to save my life right now. Think about it. Dan's pulling it up right now.
I am pulling it up. I am pulling it up because it's killing me that I can't even remember this either.
That tends to be
Zendikar.
Oh, I'm upset. Zendikar Rising exposed.
There was two. Zendikar Rising.
Yeah.
And then Theros. Theros is still in standard.
Okay. Yeah.
See, this is a weird time because there's 7 sets in standard right now. So that's quite a lot.
So
we're nearing the end of rotation.
Yeah.
We're getting close to rotation.
So the next one that comes out is Adventures in Forgotten Realms.
The Adventures in Forgotten Realms, which is the Dungeons and Dragons themed set.
I'm so glad there's
a lot
of
thing,
They have so many cool cards.
They just spilled a few, and they were very interesting, especially for people who are really into D&D.
Yeah, I'm a fan of this set. I ain't gonna lie.
The Vorpal sword, Did you see that one?
I haven't seen the Vorpal sword. I've seen the portable hole.
The portable hole, yeah. The big monster, that 5-headed dragon.
Tiamat.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep. Isn't that a?
Yeah, it is. It's a dragon from. So it's.
Isn't it like a big bad monster in D&D?
Yeah. So you want to know something funny about it?
What?
All right.
Yes, I do.
You're not going to be ready for this, Dan.
Okay. All right.
You're not ready for this.
Hit me with it.
So
hit me with it.
Tiamat is pretty much the god dragon, right?
Right.
Okay. So.
It's funny because that's the subtype. That's the creature type.
Is it? Okay.
It is the creature type.
All right. This is perfect then.
Yes.
So aside from that, it has 5 heads. Okay.
Yes.
And they all are pretty much different elements, so they're a different color. Dan.
Oh no
It's
way.
the 5 colors of magic. I am not making this up. As soon as I saw it one time, I'm like,
here's what I'm doing.
Oh my goodness.
Here's what I'm doing, because now I'm pulling up the leaked the leaked art, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at
What colors are they, Dan?
Let's see.
The
I
white
see
one up there?
white, I see red, I see green, I see black, and I see blue.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah. Every single one is there.
Oh my word, dude, that's insane.
Yeah. And
that's crazy.
So after this set comes out, right, we're going to have the 8 sets in standard,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then at the end of September, there will be a new set, and the oldest 4 sets will then rotate out.
Yep.
And then, because as soon as it comes out, they're rotated out. Now they're back to 5 sets being in standard. And then they build up to 6, 7, 8.
Yep.
Once the 9th one comes out, get rid of the oldest 4, blah, blah, blah.
Yep, and standard is a pretty popular format.
Yeah.
And that's normally the most supported format that Wizards kind of tries to support normally.
Yeah, because it's
their newer products,
things,
right? And it's their newer products, and it gets you to spend more money. Basically, that's type thing. So,
and they have Arena as well,
Yes,
which
yeah.
majority of it is standard.
Yeah. Well, when Arena first came out, it was only standard.
Yeah,
but now that Arena's been around for a while, they have more formats introduced like that are in arena specific formats. So anyway, so more formats. What else we got, Jimbo?
So all right, and what standard is? It's also a constructed format.
Yes, correct.
So pretty much all of these are going to be constructed formats.
There's a few that are not constructed.
Yeah. So then we have Pioneer, which is the youngest format, pretty much, that Wizards has come out and talked about.
Yep.
And it's official. So what this is, it's an eternal format. So rather than having a rotation set up like standard does every single year,
Gotcha.
it goes back all the way to Return to
certain
Ravnica.
time,
Yeah. So Return to Ravnica was September 2012.
Now I've heard that term thrown around a lot. Eternal
October,
format.
one of those two. Yeah.
I never knew what exactly eternal format meant.
Yeah. So
but
it's pretty much
a hard date, basically,
exactly.
of what it goes back to.
Yeah, and it doesn't change.
Gotcha. Yep.
So, so Pioneer goes all the way back to
Return to Ravnica,
forward.
Which is around September of 12. Is that right?
Yeah.
2012. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then we go even further beyond that, which is modern format.
Right.
Another Eternal format, 8th edition, which was July 2002, and forward. So
Okay.
everything from way back then to everything now and everything that comes out in the future.
Gotcha.
Then we go one step further beyond, which is Legacy, which for this one, you can use cards all the way from the start of Magic, but there's a ban list, and all of these formats pretty much have a ban list. So, but there's a ban list specifically, and it's pretty much everything in the game that is created, whether it's specifically for the Commander format or for Standard or for Modern with their Modern Horizons sets. Yeah, pretty much if it's printed in Magic, you can play it in here unless it's banned.
You know, it's funny, you know, when we're going through these formats, it's very interesting because I remember the time that I started playing Magic. And I knew about, when I started finding out about these formats, I'm trying to understand kind of what they all mean and all these different cards and all these different sets. I knew nothing. Like, I didn't know any of these cards.
Yeah.
Now that I'm knowing all these formats, I'm like, oh, okay, now I feel very confident that I could sit down and play a match in Modern and Pioneer and all these different formats. And I see these cards, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that card does. I know what this does.
Sure, you might not know like the intricacies of each deck.
Right. Like Amulet Titan. I'm going through that deck list and I'm like, I know all these cards. I'm like, okay, I could play this deck, which I kind of want to play that deck. Now that I saw it, I'm like, I can play Modern. I'll play that deck.
As soon as you started talking about the deck, I looked up a list. I'm like, what cards of this do we have that I could throw together for them?
I'm like, I will play that because Primeval Titan is banned in Commander, which is the format that we all love to play. And I mean, how is that card relatively cheap, or is that an expensive card?
I think it's pretty cheap.
I think it's pretty cheap. Yeah. So anyway, sorry to cut you off.
It's pretty much only played in modern,
right? Yeah. So sorry to cut you off.
So we were on Legacy. Next, let's talk about Commander or EDH,
the
which
best
originally was
ever.
called Elder Dragon Highlander.
Now, why was it called Elder Dragon Highlander, Jim?
It's based off of the original Elder Dragons, and Highlander being a thing of like singleton, pretty much. So,
didn't they get the name Highlander from Highlander, the movie?
I guess.
Isn't that where they came from? I think that's where it came from.
I have no idea. And I guess now it's just the thing of like, oh, people are like, oh yeah, my deck's Highlander, so which pretty much is you're playing one-ofs rather than the play set of 4.
Right. Yep.
And so that's an eternal format that also has a ban list as well.
I hate ban lists. Why does there have to be a ban
Don't worry,
list in
Dan.
Commander?
Don't worry, Dan. This next one might be for you. There's no ban list in this next one.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a millionaire.
Vintage. No, Dan, you only need like 56K. Okay. 56K low end to play these decks.
Dude, it's crazy. So speaking of vintage, right? Okay. So there's a couple of other content creators out there. One that I follow, his name, oh my goodness, the name is escaping me. He's an engineer. Oh my goodness. Why can I not?
Is it MTG engineer?
No, it's not MTG engineer. That's me, man.
Oh, that's you. My bad. My bad.
So okay, I feel
Is
terrible.
it Vintage Magic?
No, but he's a part of it.
Okay.
Edwin the Magic Engineer. There we go. That's his name.
Okay.
That's his name. But he recently started a new channel with Open Boosters. And I can't remember the name of their channel. But I'll link.
Is that the guy who opens like old school Magic boxes? Okay.
Yeah, but there's a couple of channels out there that are like they strictly do vintage Magic and old school Magic.
Right.
And I see all these cards that they're playing with, and I'm like, I mean, they've been in the game since it started.
Yeah.
Like they've been in it since the beginning, and that's where they got all of their cards from, right? And so I watch these videos and I'm like, oh my goodness, you are literally playing with $20,000 sitting right in front of you in a piece of cardboard. Holy cow.
Dan, what do you think it's like when people see you playing with like a couple $100 worth in cards, right? When they're not in this, they're like, "What do you mean that card's worth $50?"
I know, dude. It's crazy.
You know?
I was going through some of my decks, like my commander decks, and going through prices of cards, and I'm like, that card is how much? I bought it for like $5, and it's worth 200. I have a couple. Dude, there's a few cards that I have like that. Like, holy cow! But anyway, Commander is awesome, man.
Yeah, it's this game.
But
is awesome.
Vintage is
Yeah, so
I don't, dude. That's crazy.
So with Vintage, again, like Legacy, it's a format that's eternal, and it goes all the way back to the beginning of the game.
Yes.
If it's ever printed somewhere for Magic officially, it is allowed in Vintage.
Yeah.
There's no ban list, but there is a restricted list. So there's not a single card that you can't play a single copy of.
Okay.
So we're talking the Power 9, Black Lotus, the Moxes. You are able to play a single copy.
Single copy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I will never play Vintage.
I'd be down to play Vintage.
I mean, I'd be down to play it, but like all of the good decks are from like very old school cards. I mean, am I right?
No.
Oh, I'm wrong.
So there are a lot of cards. So the Power 9, right?
Yes.
A lot of decks are pretty much playing nearly all of them, right? If you're playing blue, you're playing a lot of them.
Yeah.
But you have the Black Lotus. All of these power cards are supporter cards,
Right.
And when we talk about the power level of the old cards back then, like Shivan Dragon, when it was $50, now it's a next to nothing.
Yeah,
card.
it's a 2-cent card basically.
It's ridiculously cheap,
Right.
And so most
not
of the
only
decks,
that, it's not very good.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're playing a lot of just the good cards that are out now as well.
Yeah,
you're playing a lot of busted, broken things.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But you're having the support of old cards.
Yeah, of old cards.
So,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's not just old cards.
So speaking of decks, I know we've kind of talked about this before when we went over kind of our TCG and CCG episode. But now let's kind of talk about it in the context of Magic, right? So we've got archetypes, right? So what are some popular deck archetypes now? And then what are some? When I saw you doing this, I was kind of confused. But then when I read the outline, I'm like, oh, okay, no, this makes perfect sense. This is great. Yeah. So Jim, you've got a bunch of decks written down here, kind of listed for each of a few of the more popular formats, right? So what are some of the more popular decks for these archetypes for now?
So the decks we're going to be talking about are more so for Standard, Pioneer, and Modern.
Right. So those are where you kind of broke it down.
Yeah. And so we have aggro decks, mid-range, and control.
Yep.
We also have combo on this list. Yep. But that's like a completely different kind of monster.
Yeah, the three big archetypes that you see a lot are these three that Jimbo listed here. Yeah. So let's talk about aggro.
Oh man, some of my favorite right here.
All right. So go ahead.
I was gonna say, so for pretty much any format is going to have this, Dan. It's somewhere in every format.
Yep.
Mono red aggro.
Yep.
Or burn, or red deck wins, whatever you want to call it. Yep. It's in every format. You have fast, low to the ground creatures. So on turn 1, you can play a 1/1 that has haste, or a 2/2 for a single mana that has haste.
Well, and it's funny because my goblins list that I got introduced to was a mono red.
Yep.
It was a mono red list.
Yep.
It was a very mono red aggro list.
Yep.
The nice thing about mono red lists, normally they're very cheap to play, and the cards normally are very cheap. It's very cheap for you just to get into the game. And that's why a lot of the times people recommend to new players just play mono red.
Yep.
Very cheap, very good, easy way to get into the game.
I'll always recommend that one, Dan.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't like red, but it's a really great way to get introduced to a format.
You definitely feel pretty powerful playing red early on, and you're just like, oh man, I got him down 10 life before he beat me, or something like that, you know. And then we have mono black aggro and Pioneer.
Now I have a question: did this deck originate from Historic? I mean,
Are you saying did it come from Historic?
yeah, the
I
arena
believe-
format.
I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, I
did
guess-
Historic come before Pioneer?
I mean, I
don't know.
guess that's the age-old question: the chicken or the egg,
Yeah.
right? Which one came
Oh,
first?
no. That is a lie. Mono black aggro was a thing in Standard for
Yeah, it was
for some time.
Right, it was.
Yeah.
And then when rotation hit,
Yep.
it was just basically it followed the rotation.
It wasn't able to go into Modern.
Right.
Because at that point, there was no Pioneer, there was no Historic on Arena. It wasn't a thing. So it was pretty much a deck, but it was in limbo.
Yeah.
It had nowhere to go, like a lot of decks.
Right.
Like a lot of people's cards.
Right.
So, yeah, they wanted to bridge the gap between Standard and Modern, which I think they did a pretty good job on.
Yeah. Pioneer seems to be very popular.
Yeah.
Very, very popular. Especially in our market around here.
yeah.
LGS around here.
Yeah.
People love Pioneer.
Yeah.
All right, what's this next one we got?
Next, we have Prowess in Modern.
All right.
So how Prowess works is you have creatures out on the board. Sometimes they'll have haste, sometimes they won't. And when you cast a non-creature spell,
Okay.
so let's say, I don't know, random card off the top of my head, Lightning Bolt. Okay? Let's say you cast Lightning Bolt, which is for a single mana, deal 3 damage to any target.
Yeah.
Okay? So you played a creature on turn 1, right? Next turn, you played another creature on turn 2, and you still have another mana open. They can both attack, right? And let's say they both have prowess.
Okay.
You now cast the lightning bolt to target them for 3 damage. Prowess triggers activate, giving your creatures +1/+1. So if they were a 1/2,
the creature with prowess.
yes,
Correct. Okay,
yeah. So the creature with prowess will
Yes.
get +1/+1.
Oh, that's right. It's both power and toughness.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not just power.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. Prowess is really strong.
Yeah. Prowess is kind of broken.
So now that original creature you played is now swinging this turn for like 2 damage.
Yeah, and it gets activated at instant speed. I mean, it's a trigger, so it's crazy.
And the other creature you played on this turn, let's say it was Monetary Swift Spear, which is another card that has haste and prowess.
Yeah,
so that one also gets the +1. So you have 2 creatures coming in for 2 damage each, 4 damage, plus the initial 3 from the lightning bolt, 7 damage on turn 2.
Yeah. What colors is this deck normally played in?
So this deck is normally played in blue and red.
Okay.
So-
Is it okay?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So oh gosh.
We got some mid-range, Dan.
Yeah. No, I love mid range, but
Dan,
not this first
Dan,
deck.
I
Not
know
this first
you've
deck.
had a lot of experience with this deck. Let's talk about it. All right, Dan. Let's have you talk a little bit about this deck.
Are you gonna do this to me?
Yeah, Dan. Let's talk about this. Dan's crying over here.
I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard. Oh my. All right. So
Do you want me to say it?
no, I'll say it. I'll say it. So the first deck is Dimir Rogues. The reason this is so funny is not that long ago, I was doing YouTube on my own, right? And I was doing a Magic the Gathering channel, right? So I was doing MTG Arena decks. I was doing a deck a day. And so Dimir Rogues has been in the format since Zendikar Rising came into Standard, right? And so when Zendikar Rising hit Standard, that was kind of around the time that I really started.
So it's been over a year now?
It's been it's been
over a year.
And it was funny because I remember when Zendikar was spoiled, right? The tribe that everyone was really excited for was rogues because there were so many very powerful rogues that got introduced in Zendikar, and people were just like, oh man, now we're getting a lot of rogue support. And like they did, like there was a lot of support.
Not to be confused with the rogue decks, which is a completely different thing.
Right. Rogues as a creature type.
Yeah.
So rogues as a creature type was getting heavy support in Zendikar.
Yeah.
Zendikar Rising. So when the set came out, this deck just basically took over
It
Standard.
dominated. everything.
It dominated everything.
There weren't any like necessarily broken cards. They all work so well together and fast that like no one was able to stop it.
Like there aren't even that many rares in that list.
Yeah.
I mean,
We're talking aside from lands.
No, right. Aside from lands, there weren't really many other rares other than Zerathon for standard.
Yeah.
It was a lot of uncommons. so it got to the point to where, and I was not the only one who felt like this either. There were plenty of people who were like, the moment turn 1 ruin crab, K concede, or any if you saw a card that could be in that list, it was just an auto concede, and I did that all the time because I hated playing it. Depending on the mood that I was in, like if I wanted to try and beat it, and I'm pretty sure I made a video where like I was talking about, and what I was saying was any deck that you created specifically for standard, you had to ask the question, can this beat Dimir Rogues?
Yep.
And it's funny because like that's how pros, like that's how they approach the game. They figure out what's the meta and how can I beat what's in the meta.
Yep.
And so it was just that's why I'm laughing. I'm laughing over here because it's pretty funny.
Yeah, we watched a video Dan made I guess a while back now.
I don't know if I want to link it. I basically I lost my cool, but I did it in a funny way because I'm laughing at myself.
Dan's like bleep bleep bleep.
It was just funny.
You gotta be bleep.
Oh man, when I made that video, I'm like, I'm gonna keep this in because I'm acting like a child, and people can laugh at me, and I can laugh at myself.
That was something else, man. Yeah, we watched it not too long ago. That was golden.
We did. That was funny. And I posted in Discord. I'm like, hey, you guys want to have a good laugh? Watch this video. Okay, can you talk about the next deck?
All right,
because this next deck is great as well.
Yeah. This is a good one. Rakdos Pyromancer.
Yeah.
So it's based off the 2 colors, red and black, Rakdos, and the main card, I guess you could say, is the Pyromancer.
Yep.
Young Pyromancer.
Yep.
He's a creature for 2 mana. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you create a 1/1 elemental. So he's a creature that's on board, and he gives you value as you're casting more spells.
Yep.
So you're looking to build your board up with this or other strong creatures in the list as well. And you're looking to control the field a little bit. So you could be like, all right, we're going to lightning strike this creature. We're going to kill your creature. And I'm going to make a new creature. You know, I'm going to start picking cards from your hand with a Thoughtseize. And now I'm going to create another creature. You know, then it's going to be like, oh, I want to play this card that makes me sack a creature. So I'm going to sack one of those 1/1 creatures that I got for free to draw 2 cards. Except what did I do there, Dan? Did you say I casted another card to then make that 1/1 token?
Yep.
The deck.
It's on cast. On the cast you create, and then you can,
but you do have to sack a creature before you cast it.
Right. But it's just immediately on the cast. You're immediately getting value just on the cast.
Yeah, so you're getting value. You're controlling their board. You're trying to increase your board state.
I'm pretty sure this deck is also in Historic on Arena.
Okay.
And I remember playing this list in Historic. I'm pretty sure I did a video on my YouTube channel about it, unless the Pioneer version is different from Historic, because Historic still to date at the recording of this podcast, I do not believe Pioneer has 100% full support on MTG Arena.
No, it's not.
So that's why I would be curious to see if the Pioneer list is different from what's available in Historic on Arena. Yeah. So, all right, what's the next one here? So I'm curious as to what deck this actually is, because I don't know. I don't think I know.
So Jund in Modern for mid-range.
So first of all, Jund is a color combination.
Yes.
All right.
Jund is a color combination, like Grixis. It shares 2 of the colors, actually.
Yep.
Red, black, and green.
Yep.
So for this one, you're you're pretty much playing really strong creatures that are just good on their own, and other spells in the deck that, take cards away from your opponent. You're looking to destroy stuff on their field. You're looking to play these powerful planeswalkers that give you more value over time as well. So Renin 6 is a card that is red and green. You're able to take a land card from your graveyard and put it back into your hand. So why that's strong in Modern is because you have access to fetch lands.
Fetch lands, yep.
So these are lands that you can play down. You can tap, pay 1 life, and sacrifice it to go search your deck for whatever specific color that it tells you can do.
Not just a basic either.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a basic land. Nope. So you can go find a Triome. You can go find a shock land. You can go find a basic land if you want to.
If you don't have any other lands in the deck, you can find that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So this deck is meant to play strong creatures on its own and get you value over time, and it's pretty much a war of attrition when it comes to these kinds of decks.
Which normally it is, especially when you're playing Jund.
Yeah.
Especially when you're playing Jund. If you want to see a really good Jund player, go find Reed Duke.
Yeah, Reed Duke
he loves Jund. He's one of my favorite players because I love Jund as well. And
Dan, I ain't gonna lie. When I first saw Reed Duke, I was not a fan.
Why?
I couldn't listen to him. It's his voice and his haircut. I'm not a fan. But now I watch him.
Yeah,
I watch him. I'm just saying, the first time
I
saw him, I'm like, I am not watching this nerd, man.
I'm with you. I get that.
But now I am a fan of
because he's insanely good.
Yeah, he's a really good player.
He's really, really good. So. All right, so the next archetype, what do we got here?
Man, we got control. This is my other.
Control is fun.
Stuff.
Control is fun. It's terrible to play against. Normally, unless you're playing another control deck.
Yeah, when you're playing a control mirror match, it's not for everyone though.
No,
it's not for everyone.
It's definitely not. I can't remember when this was. It was I think it was about a year ago. And it was. So it was a control. I don't know if it was a mirror match, but meaning the exact same decks were playing each other. Yeah. I think it was. It might have been, but I remember Teferi, Hero of Dominaria was there. Was there, and I think there was an ultimate. Somebody ultimated Teferi, right? And so it got down to who was going to deck the other one out.
Real quick. So what the ultimate on Teferi is, you get an emblem that whenever you draw a card, you exile a permanent that your opponent controls.
Yes. Yep. So basically, you're gonna leave their board. You're gonna destroy their board, basically.
Yeah. Their lands, their creatures, enchantments, whatever it is, you can target it.
So it got down to who is gonna deck the other one out. Is what it got down to. So in Magic, if you go to draw a card and you don't have any cards left in your deck, you automatically lose.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately what the deck got down to. So the life of me, I can't remember who this was. I want to try and find the video now, but anyway.
So going off of that, right? And there were some people out there that, since a lot of people are playing Controlist, they would play that blue land card that is mill target person X cards. They would play that. Yeah, so it would be your opponent. So your opponent would mill like two cards.
What card?
It was a land. I don't remember exactly what it was called though.
There was a land that you could mill target player.
Yeah, I don't know if you had to sack it though.
What format? What format was this in?
This was in standard. It was semi recently.
Really?
So they were teching that in because if a lot of people are playing a control list and it's coming down to I'm gonna one of us is gonna mill out.
Right.
Why wouldn't you play a land that makes your opponent?
Yeah, of course.
And it's in your colors.
Right.
So you use it whenever you need to.
Now I have to look up. Now I'm curious what land that was.
I think it was Sack a Desert. So I'm guessing it was around Kaladesh.
That would have been around Kaladesh then, yes.
Well, it was after Kaladesh, but yeah.
Well, it would have been around that time. Yeah.
Well, I guess it was Amonkhet. So Amonkhet.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Amonkhet.
Yeah, it was an
my bad.
Amonkhet desert.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. All right. So okay, so what's the current control deck for standard?
So we have Sultai control, which is black, green, and blue.
All right, what are some of the cards that are popular in that deck right now?
So for this one, we have, which this is played in every combo list, or not combo, control list. Shark Typhoon.
Shark Typhoon.
Shark Typhoon.
I knew you were
supposed to
say that,
be it was supposed to be a troll card, dude.
It was supposed to be a meme.
It's the Sharknado.
Yes,
that's what this is.
That's exactly what it was, and it turns out
is broken.
Yeah, it turns out the card's pretty good.
So, what this card does? This isn't even the important part of this card.
No, this is not.
So it is 5 in a red. So it's 6 mana to bring out.
You mean blue?
Yeah, my bad. Blue. 5 in a blue. And it's an enchantment, so it can stay out on the field. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, or it's instant and sorcery, whatever.
Non-creature. It's non-creature.
Non-creature?
It is non-creature, yeah.
So whenever you cast one, you make a XX shark flying creature.
Yep.
Where X is the mana value.
Yeah, it's mana value now. You were going to say converted mana cost.
I was definitely going to say CMC, Dan. So converted mana cost of the card that you cast. So let's say you played, I don't know, card off the top of my head, Lightning Bolts. Let's say you played Lightning Bolt, which is a 1 mana card.
Yep.
So you get the effect of the Lightning Bolt.
Right.
And then you make a 1/1 flying shark.
Yep.
Or if you were to play a card that was 10 mana, you make a 10/10 flying shark.
Yeah.
But that's not it.
That's not the good. That's not even the crazy
good part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just the decent part.
Yeah. That's still really good.
Yeah. If you're able to get that out against control, you are winning that game.
You are winning. Yes. Yes.
So, but this other effect,
and that is a win con. That is a win con in so many control decks.
Yep. And so, but this other effect, when it's in your hand, you can pay X mana, a 1 and a blue.
Yes.
To cycle this card.
Right.
So what cycling is, you can discard it from your hand, pay its cost, and then you would draw another card.
Right. So you replace the card in your hand with another card that you draw.
Yeah. So you're replacing the card and you're getting an XX flying shark where X is how much you spent in the discard or its cycling cost.
So if you were to cycle this card and you paid 6 total, that would be X equals 4 plus the 1 additional and the 1 blue.
Yep.
So if you paid 6 total, you would make a 4/4 flying shark creature token.
Or you paid 10 mana for it, 10 minus the 2, an 8/8,
an 8/8.
and then you get to draw a card.
Yep. So if you can activate this on your opponent's end step, you go into
which you do.
which is normally when you do it, right?
Yeah.
You go into your turn basically with the effect of an 8/8 with haste.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is how the effect
And your lands
kind
are
of turns
untapped.
out. Correct. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's like you played an 8/8 with flash or an instant speed 8/8.
Yep.
On your opponent's turn. Go into your turn, untap, upkeep.
And your opponent can't interact with that unless they can counter the activated ability.
Yeah.
Because that is an activated ability is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is it activated or is it triggered? Because I think it states when you cycle this card, you make this.
No, you're activating it because it's a cost.
Well, the cycle is the cost.
Correct.
But I don't think the making the XX thing is
right.
part of the
that's
activation.
Right. That is correct.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain that specifically is triggered.
See, I'd have to look at the card. We'd have to look at the card and see because there's actually 2 triggers.
Yes.
There is 2 triggers. There's a cycle trigger and then but normally those types of counter spells, quote unquote, work the same because it's stifle. It's you're countering an activated or triggered.
I believe as well.
Yeah, Tail's End.
Except
because normally it's a counter and activated or triggered ability.
Yeah,
like
so,
you get.
So why I say
option.
it matters is because if there are really specific cards, which there can be,
yes, for sure.
Then you have to know the difference.
Yes, you got to know the difference.
Or there can be other cards that trigger based off of that.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's like, someone can't do an activated ability on something in the hand or something.
Yeah, you have to know, is it an activated ability or is this a triggered ability? Because it is very, very specific. And it's one of the reasons I love card games because they're very intentional and very specific with the wording and I base everything off. I base every other card game off of Magic. When I was playing Monopoly the other day, that Monopoly deal, I texted you a picture because I'm reading the cards and I'm like, the way this is worded doesn't make sense, but it ultimately doesn't matter because it's if the designers say this is how it's supposed to work, then fine. Then
also
I'm with you.
after we record here, I want you to tell me why you were thinking it shouldn't work like that. Because as soon as I saw it, I'm like, that's how that works.
But see, that makes sense to me. But again, I was specifically looking at the wording and seeing how things are worded.
Oh, because it's like stop that card. Period.
Right.
Then
because one of them specifically references something happening against you or another player. But then this other thing doesn't even reference a player. Like there's no target, quote unquote. So again, I come into every other card game.
Now I think I understand it.
Yes. So that's where I'm trying to convince Bobby. I'm trying to convince Michael of my line of thinking. But even I even said, I'm like, it doesn't really matter what I think because if the designers say it works a certain way, right? And so I'm like, I'm fine with that. I just want you to know like what my line of thinking and logic kind of is. So. Anyway.
They didn't put a whole lot of detail into their
They didn't. And that's why I looked it up because as long as you know what the ruling is, then you can proceed.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you can proceed. So anyway. All right, what's the Pioneer control list?
Here we have Dimir Control.
All right.
Which a little bit like Sultai, you just take out the green.
Yeah.
So you have black and blue. And this one also shares some cards that the Sultai list also holds.
Like Shark Typhoon?
Exactly. Shark Typhoon is in this list.
Isn't oh goodness, the Dimir Planeswalker man. Yeah, we can't even remember. I'm not totally sure what cards are in this deck.
Tezzeret, are you?
No, Tezzeret.
I'm like, that's like the only Dimir one I can think of.
No, there was a Nightmare Muse. I can't remember the actual name.
Oh, Ashiok.
Ashiok, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Some list play her?
Yeah.
Or him? I don't know. It doesn't even have a face.
Yeah,
You just look at its chest, and I think it's a guy.
Actually, I don't think. To be fair, I don't think Ashiok actually has a gender.
You're probably right, Dan.
I'm only saying because I actually remember there was an argument. Everybody argues on Twitter, but I think there was something, and then like Magic came out, and there was like a story about Ashiok, and somebody was like, "Oh, Ashiok is actually the first non-binary planeswalker." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I thought that was the Azorius one that just came out.
I don't even know.
All right, regardless, Ashiok is a really good value card as well.
Yes.
Some lists play it, some don't. But you also have
it's a fantastic card for control.
Yeah,
it very is. Yeah. It totally is.
Because you make a 3/1, whether it attacks or blocks, your opponent mills. I think 3 cards or 2 cards.
One
of the 2.
It's
3 cards.
It's 3 cards.
Yeah. But then you also have Drown in the Lock.
Oh, that's a fan.
Oh, they don't even mill. They exile the cards.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because
even better.
Because Ashiok's ultimate is you can play those cards for free. The cards that you exile with those tokens that you created, you can play them for free.
So Drown in the Lock is a 2-mana card that states you can destroy a target permanent or target non-land permanent, or you can counter spell. So you can either use it as a kill spell or something to do on the stack.
It looks at the amount of cards in your opponent's graveyard and then compares that with the mana value.
Yep. And this card is really strong because the later the game goes, you're stopping anything. You're stopping anything and everything. Yep. Well, as long as you don't exile their whole graveyard.
Hey, Jim, what set was that in?
Theros.
No, it was not Theros.
I don't know.
Eldraine?
That Ashiok was Eldraine?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was referring to
Drown in the Lock. Drown in the Lock. Oh yeah. That was Eldraine. Yeah.
I was basically getting at Eldraine is full of insane cards.
Yeah.
Eldraine is a
Eldraine had a lot of good stuff.
Busted set.
The food mechanic has also made a lot of. So one deck I didn't want to talk about in the mid-range list, since I had Jund in Modern, I didn't want to talk about Jund in Pioneer. So I had to change it up a little bit.
Right.
But their stuff is like, so there's a cat combo.
Oh, dude, that's not.
Should I not talk about the cat combo?
Everybody hated that combo. Everybody hated that combo.
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, I want to run this.
Yeah.
I want to run this. And that's the Pioneer deck I'm
That
playing,
is the Pioneer
actually.
deck, yeah, with the dragon. I can't remember the name of the dragon. Why can't I remember the name of the dragon?
Corvold.
Corvold, there we go.
Yeah.
Corvold the faking.
Yeah, the Jun Dragon. And
Busted.
yeah, he's really strong. So the cat combo is Witch's Familiar, which is a cat. It's a 1/1 for 1, a single black mana. When it enters the battlefield, you deal 1 point of damage to your opponent, and you gain a point of life.
Yep.
So you're draining them for 1, right?
Yep.
Then it also has the effect of when it's in your graveyard, you can sacrifice a food token
Yep.
to bring it back to the battlefield.
Yep.
Not even to your hand.
At instant speed.
At instant
You can do
speed,
it at any time you have priority.
Your opponent's like, oh, I'm going to attack you directly. You're like, no, I'm going to play cat from the graveyard, drain you a life, and then I'm going to block it.
Your opponent's like, yeah, I got a 6/6 that I'm going to attack you with because you got no blockers and you're at 6. No, I'm not.
Now
no,
I'm
you're
actually
not.
at 7.
Now,
and you're down
and
alive.
you're dead because you're at 1.
Yeah. So the cat comes back when you sacrifice a food. Right?
And you know what? There's this one other card.
Is that the part that's the combo?
Can I talk about the other? Can I talk about the other card?
Go ahead.
Sorry. And I love this other card. So the card is
great.
It's an oven, right? And it's a 1 mana. It is a 1 mana value card. Correct? I believe the oven is a 1 mana value card.
It's an artifact. It doesn't even have a color.
So you play the oven, and then what you can do is the oven. Its ability is you can tap the oven and sacrifice a creature, and to create a token. Now, if the creature's toughness, I believe, is 4 or greater, you create 2 food tokens.
Yep.
So if you have this cat, right? So you sacrifice the cat to the oven, create the food token. Now your cat is in the graveyard. You sacrifice the food that you created from the oven to the cat to bring back the cat, and now you have the cat back again and ready to do it all again next turn. So it's called Cat Oven.
Yeah, and I also messed up. It's not Witch's Familiar. It's Cauldron Familiar.
Yes,
it's just the Witch's Oven is
Witch's
is the
Oven.
coven.
That's Witch's Oven is the name of the oven card, and then the cat is.
So let's talk about this little combo. I love this combo so much. So
the only problem with it was there's too many clicks involved in MTG Arena. That was it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it on paper.
No, paper it's easy. It's like I'm just gonna do the thing again.
So you play the cat, right? You play the cat.
Yeah.
I drain you for 1.
Correct.
Right? Let's say I already
and you
have,
gain 1. And you gain 1.
So I drain you for 1. Deal 1, gain 1.
Yep. Drain. My bad.
So then let's say we go to your turn and you attack, right? But I already have the Witch's Oven out. You attack me with a 2/2, right? My cat is a 1/1. Why would I want my cat to die, right?
Right.
So you attack. I block it with the cat.
Right.
Okay. Before damage happens, I sacrifice the cat to the Witch's Oven, put it into the graveyard. His creature that was attacking me, it was forced to attack where the cat was. It doesn't start to attack you directly now.
Right.
The
only way that would happen is if that creature had trample.
Yes. Yeah.
Trample basically is any excess damage that the creature does not take immediately goes through to the player.
Yeah. So think about it like you're in mid swing about to punch someone, but then they vanish.
Right.
It's like you're not going to continue to run past that person. You're going to swing where they were at, and then you miss.
Right.
So
unless the bat had trample.
unless you got trample, unless you're running and there's a dude behind it. Right. So, and then the cat's gone, and then at the end of their turn, or on the next time they want to attack, you can then sacrifice the food to bring the cat back, gain a life, deal a point of damage to them, go to block, sacrifice the cat again. They have to attack. Nothing. They're losing so much damage output. You're gaining life. You're dealing damage to them, and you only have 2 cards, and they're upset.
And that's what happened all the time. People hated it. It's great playing with it, but it's terrible playing against it.
And then you throw Mayhem Devil into it.
Yeah, Mayhem Devil is a sacrificer's dream. So Mayhem Devil has this ability where anytime any opponent not
player.
opponent, any player, excuse me.
Yeah.
Any player sacrifices a permanent. Sacrifices a permanent.
Yeah.
So if you have a fetch land and you sacrifice your fetch land, that's going to trigger Mayhem Devil.
Yeah.
So anytime any player sacrifices a permanent, Mayhem Devil deals 1 point of damage to any target.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Mayhem Devil can go off.
So if you do the combo, you sacrifice the cat to deal a point of damage to anything, right? You then sacrifice the food token to bring the cat back.
Yeah.
Mayhem Devil kicks in, deals another point of damage, and then you have the cat, which drains life. You dealt 3 damage with that one combo.
Yeah.
It's really strong.
Yeah.
I could talk about that.
Well, it was funny because I'm looking at the list and I'm like, wait a minute, how in the world did we start talking about cat oven
didn't even
combo
talk about
when we
it.
were talking about control?
Yeah, we were talking about control. Yeah, that was Demir, or that was mid range that we were. Just talking
that
about.
was mid range. That was a mid range list. So going back to control, there's one other deck for modern, which we have not talked about yet. What is the modern control list?
Esper Control, which is black, blue, and white.
Esper is such a great color combination for control.
Really strong.
Yeah.
Which, like Dan, you were talking about a card called Teferi,
Hero of Dominaria.
They play that in this list.
They play the full play set, correct?
No.
no?
It's too much. It's too much.
Too much money?
No. Too much CMC.
Oh yeah, it's because
So it's
what are you talking
5.
about CMC? Don't you mean mana value?
Oh, what is that? But aside from that, you don't want that many copies of it because you can only have the one out at a time.
Right.
And you're playing a controller, so you're going to draw a lot of cards.
Right, correct.
So they play that, which he's a 5 mana cost.
Yep.
And then his +1 is draw a card at the end of your turn. Uptap. You can untap 2 lands.
Oh, man. That card was so broken.
So it turns 5 into at the end of your turn, it's pretty much 3 mana.
Cost 3.
And then later on, they came out with the 3 mana drop to Fairy, which stops your opponents from playing.
Which
at
ended up
instant
getting
speed.
banned in multiple formats, I think.
It's not in modern.
No, it got
I don't
banned.
know.
It got banned in standard. At the end,
okay.
at the end of its life cycle in standard, I believe it got banned.
I have no clue. I'm not surprised though. That card is really impressive.
Yeah,
and it's a blue-white, so we talk about jailing people. That's what they do.
Right.
So
Teferi is a great character, though.
Yeah, he is.
He's a great
He's
character.
so strong.
Yeah.
And it's they're And then they also play Snapcaster Mage. Let's talk about Snapcaster for a little bit.
Do.
So Snapcaster.
I want to talk about oh goodness, what's the one from Kaladesh? Torrential Gearhulk. It's the same kind of thing. But go ahead. Snapcaster Mage.
So Snapcaster Mage is a 2 mana drop creature that has flash. And so you can play it instantly. And when it enters the battlefield, you can target a spell in your graveyard and pretty much be able to recast it again. Mm-hmm. So let's say random card off the top of your head, Dan. What are you thinking? What card?
Lightning Bolt?
Lightning Bolt. I wasn't thinking that card. But let's say Lightning Bolt.
What do you mean
Dan.
you weren't thinking that
Let's
card?
say Lightning Bolt. So you have a Lightning Bolt in the graveyard. You play the Snapcaster Mage for 2 mana. You then target the Lightning Bolt in the graveyard to recast it. You still have to pay the mana for it, so you need 3.
Right.
And then you can deal 3 damage to any target. People do that in Grixis control. They do it in Jeskai control, which is red, white, and blue, or red, black, and blue.
America.
So, yeah, that's the control stuff we have.
Yeah. So Torrential Gearhulk is like Snapcaster Mage, but Torrential Gearhulk costs 6 mana.
Yeah.
And so when when Torrential Gearhulk enters the battlefield, you can target any instant card in your graveyard, and you can cast it for free if it has 6 mana value or less.
I don't think
it's any.
Yeah, it's any cost.
It is any cost. That's right.
Yeah, so
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so he himself is 6 mana.
Yes.
So
correct.
When it's on par with Snapcaster Mage is when you're casting something with Snapcaster Mage for 4 mana.
Right.
And then it gets better when you target something that has 5.
Right.
But that doesn't really happen in Modern.
The other see the difference is there is Snapcaster can target instant and sorceries in your graveyard.
Yes.
And so so that's where Snapcaster is a little bit better. But the only way that Torrential's better is you can target any instant.
Yeah.
It doesn't, and you're casting it for free.
Bigger.
Right.
It's a 5/6.
It's a 5/6. That's right.
It's huge.
Snapcaster is what, a 2/2?
A 2/1.
2/1. Yeah. Yeah. So
there's a bit of a body size difference.
Right. All right. So the last archetype that we're going to go over is combo.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of combo decks. So what combo basically means is it's a deck that revolves around interactions between. Like your win condition is getting this interaction to go off between a few different cards in your deck.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. If you think about it, in honestly, like all of these decks kind of are combo-ish because they all work together. They all synergize.
They're synergized, yeah.
They all synergize together, right? But where combo is that's literally the win condition is you getting this combo to go off in order to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. All right. So what are some combo decks that are pretty popular right now?
Well, Dan, let's talk about Lotus. Lotus combo. There is a land called Lotus Field.
Yes.
And so when it enters the battlefield, you have to sacrifice 2 other lands. Okay. And so, but it also taps for 3 mana.
And it has hexproof.
Yeah. So it kind of pays for itself.
Hexproof is nice because hexproof means that that card cannot be targeted. It can't be the target of any spell or ability.
Of your opponents.
Excuse me.
Shroud is anyone.
Yes.
So it is, I guess, a little bit better than Shroud.
Yes, 100%.
If you ever want to target it for some reason.
Correct.
So what they're looking to do is get a lot of mana into the setup, and then pretty much untap it all with multiple times with whatever effect, or just get a lot of mana. Right. And then play big spells that you should not be playing. So let's say you have a Lotus Field on turn 3. Right? You have a way to untap it. So now you can tap it again for 6 mana. Except, well, you're on turn 4 when you should be having only 4 mana, but now you have 6 or 7.
Right.
And now you can play something a lot bigger.
Right.
Okay. And since it's in Pioneer, you do have access to Wilderness Reclamation. So that's and if you have multiple copies of that, you untap your lands multiple times, and then you float the mana, and then you're just like, well, what card do I have that can deal X damage? Expansion Explosion.
Or Banefire.
Well, I don't think Banefire is instant. Expansion Explosion is.
Expansion Explosion, right, correct.
Yeah, so you need it to be instant.
Correct. You do need, because if you have multiple Wilderness Reclamations, tap, untap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So hold it while it's on the stack, tap all your mana.
So it's basically that Expansion Explosion deck. Is Nexus of Fate in there?
Most likely.
Gosh, dude.
I don't know off the top of my head. These Dan, it's Simic, okay?
I know.
I didn't do a whole lot of research into this deck.
Dude, that deck has a bunch of fog effects to stop.
Yeah.
So basically, that deck just gained Lotus Field.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I remember that deck. All right, so what's the next one we got?
Let's talk about one of your combo decks that you were talking about earlier.
Heliod Company.
No. I mean, that's what I wrote down.
You did write it down, but because I thought it was.
You were talking about something else.
What was I talking about?
You were talking about Amulet Titan.
Oh, yeah, Amulet Titan.
Which can also be like Scape Shift.
Tell me about Amulet Titan.
So, with Amulet Titan,
what's the amulet in Amulet Titan?
Okay, so Amulet of Vigor.
It's
I believe it's a single mana drop. So you can play it on turn 1.
Correct.
Whenever your land would enter tapped.
Permanent.
Oh, it's permanent.
It's permanent.
Whenever
I'm pretty sure it's permanent.
would enter the battlefield, it enters untapped.
Yeah, well, actually, that's not what it says. Yeah, it's untap it.
It's
untap it. Yeah. Okay. So it enters tapped, and then you just untap it.
Yes.
If an effect would cause a permanent to be tapped, you untap it when it ETBs.
Okay.
Type thing.
So
yes.
I guess kind of going off the Lotus combo or the Lotus combo. So that Lotus itself, it enters the battlefield.
It enters tapped, yes.
So if you have the Amulet of Vigor, it'll enter in untapped.
Correct.
But there are also other cards that where it says enter tapped, but it gives you 2 mana,
right.
and you got to bounce a card.
Yeah, the bounce lands.
But it's kind of worth it when you have other cards that let you play more than one land in a single turn.
Like, I don't know, Azusa,
Dryad.
2 lands, Dryad of the Grove, something.
Yeah, Dryad of the Grove.
It's Dryad of the Ilzian Grove, I think. I can't remember. I think.
So it allows you to play another one.
Multiple land drops in a turn,
The card or the land that bounces a land back to your hand. Let's say you bounced a land that bounced back to your hand, or bounced another card back to your hand. So say you have 2 of them, right? You're playing it. It enters in untapped, except then you tap it for its mana cost, or for its mana. You just leave it there. Then you play another land to return that other land that is now tapped, and it gives you 2 mana. So now you tap that for the mana. So now you got 4 mana on top of whatever you previously had to then play any big card. Let's say, what's a big green card that could get you more lands from your deck?
Primeval Titan.
All right, Primeval Titan. Let's say Primeval Titan. And so on ETB, you go search your deck for land cards. Okay, I believe it's 2.
I think it's any lands.
Any 2 land cards.
That's crazy.
So if you can set it up to where you play a bunch of lands, right? There's a land as well to where, is it Boros colors? I think it's Boros to give yourself, so it gives plus X plus 0 or plus X equal to how much mana you spend for this. And it gives haste. So you can turn your creatures really big and just send it in there. Oh. Yeah, so you give your prime time, your Primeval Titan, your prime time is what it's called, prime time. You make them like a 14/14 beater with haste the turn you just played it, and it's most likely like turn 3, and they don't have anything to stop that.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
But this other one, do you know about this deck, Heliod?
Okay, so let me ask you this. So I see it, and I'm thinking it's I think it's closely related to that Selesnya list that's in Pioneer slash Historic.
Most
where
likely.
It's got collected
both the cards or all 3 of the cards.
Collected Company, Heliod, Sun Crowned, and it's basically mono white life gain aggro with Heliod and Collected Company. Is that correct?
You're missing the part that is the combo.
So what's the combo?
Walking Ballista.
Oh.
Walking Ballista gets lifelink.
Okay.
So then you
gosh,
to get the counter on him, except you remove a counter to deal a point of damage, except he has lifelink, so you gain a life, and then you got another +1/+1 counter because of Heliod. So and then you remove a counter, Dan, to deal a point of damage to gain a life, but Heliod says you give him a +1/+1 counter, so then you remove that +1/+1.
So it's an infinite combo.
It's an infinite combo.
So the way the way the combo basically works is you've got Heliod Sun Crown, which states anytime you gain life, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Right? You control, I think. Yeah. And then and so there's another effect that on Heliod, which you can pay 2 and a white to give any creature of yours lifelink. Yeah. So basically, you would pay 2 and a white to give Walking Ballista lifelink. Okay, Walking Ballista has what's the ability? It's you can just remove a +1/+1 counter from.
So it's an activated ability.
And I think Walking Ballista's mana value is XX.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So you pay. Let's say if you paid 4 total, that's 2 and 2.
Yep.
So he would enter the battlefield with 2 +1. It's a 0/0, but he enters with 2 +1/+1 counters on Walking Ballista. So if you remove one of those counters, Walking Ballista can deal a point of damage to any target, right? Yep. So if you deal that point of damage to your opponent, well, if you give Walking Ballista lifelink, as he deals that damage, now you just gained life that triggers Heliod, put the counter back on to Walking Ballista, remove the counter, deal that damage, and
it
then
has lifelink,
and that's the combo
gain
where
the counter off from Heliod.
Yep,
exactly.
It just keeps going back and forth, and then okay, all right.
Yep. So that's a deck.
That is a deck. So there's a lot of combinations of cards that you can. And that is one way that Magic is just crazy. Yeah. It's so cool.
But aside from the main 3 formats we were talking about, in Commander, when you have access to so many cards and you're playing a 100-card list, the combos that you have access to, a lot of the combos that we've already talked about, some people play them.
Yep.
You know, Heliod, and whether it's a mono white list that's
you can't play Primeval Titan though, because Primeval Titan is banned in Commander.
Yeah. So as long as the ban list
I didn't know why, and then I looked at Primeval Titan. I go, yeah, it seems like a pretty good card.
yeah. Any 2 lands, okay. People are playing Tempt with Discovery.
Yeah, I love Tempt of Discovery. That's a fantastic card.
I know, Dan, but except would you want your opponents to get cards? Exactly. No. Ban Prime Time. All right.
Well, hang on. What is Primeval Titan's mana value?
I believe he's.
Is it 6?
Yeah, 6.
Is it 6?
6/6 for 6.
Crazy.
With hella upside.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Oh man, give him haste. It's no wait. Is it ETB and attacks, or is it just attacks?
Oh,
I'd have to look.
I think it's both.
Because
I think you get the ETB.
I think it's both too.
Yeah. Fairly certain.
I'm pulling it up now because I'm curious here. Yep, ETBs or attacks.
Yeah, or attacks.
My goodness.
That card's really good because.
Oh my word!
So if you're playing Naya, you'll have access to the combo that's
$8.
also in Modern. Oh, it's 8.
It's the market is $8.89, so around $9.
Okay.
Dude, that's crazy.
So yeah, if you're playing Naya, which is red, green, and white, in Commander, you can play the combo that we were talking about. Just go infinite mana, play them, give them haste, get in there.
Dude, that's crazy. Oh, man. We talked a lot about a bunch of decks, but that was fun, dude. That's fun.
It was fun going over those things.
It was. All right. So one other thing, let's talk about events.
Yeah.
So how can you play this game? Like, let's say as opposed to going to your LGS, like there's ways you can play competitively with people, assuming Wizards of the Coast starts up organized play again sometime soon. I'm sure they will at some point.
There would be too many people upset at them.
I don't know if they would actually care about that though.
They won't like it. I'd be willing to bet.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about the highest point of competitiveness, we're talking about Mythic Championships, which used to be called Pro Tours.
Oh, that's right. Because even the in-person events, they're calling Mythic Championships now. That's right.
They changed the name.
They changed the name. Okay.
So, which that is an official Wizards of the Coast thing. That is the highest tier thing that you can get.
Yeah, the highest tier of competition. Which the nice thing is they're also making, like, in order to get into those events, you can play those on Arena.
Yeah.
So anybody can play those. So like they do have the upside of like opening up the competition to like anybody.
Yeah.
So that is one plus side to that. Yeah. So anyway.
But aside from that, we have Magic Fest, which used to be called Grand Prix.
Yep.
And that's not necessarily the highest level, but that's also, I think, open to the public.
Yeah, it's open to the public.
So you don't even have to be invited.
That was my first event. Yeah. That was my first event, and the reason that was when I think I've told this story before, where I went down to Indianapolis. I have a friend.
That's a cute little town. By the way.
Yeah, friend who. I'm pretty sure that's the exact same thing you said, and I brought this up before. But went down there, had a friend. So I don't think he had ever been to a Magic Fest, and this was when they had just. I'm pretty sure they had recently changed the name from Grand Prix to Magic Fest. Yeah. So that was the first event that I'd ever gone to for Magic, and it was fun. I mean, I mostly just played Commander, but there were events for all formats there, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of vendors there. It was a great time. Fantastic time.
I haven't been to one. I wanted to go to the one in Chicago, but I couldn't.
Yeah. I didn't go to that one. I think my reasoning was, I'm like, well, I went to this one in Indianapolis, so I think I won't go here. Just spend some time with family and not go. So anyway, but yeah, that was fun.
This next one though, Star City Games. This is the one that I've been to a couple of times.
Right.
This one it's not Wizards official from them. It's from a company named Star City Games. And they run really big tournaments as well. And when we're talking about, second party, this is the top ones. Pretty much. And a lot of, and even pro players that have been to Mythic Championships or go to the Grand Prix, they go to these ones as well because they understand as well that this is where you can go to find competition.
Yeah, it's another place to get really high level competition to see who's out there, right? For sure.
And even if you aren't looking to be super competitive, still go check one out if you are able to.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah, because there's more than enough tables most of the time. And if you want to partake in the tournament, they'll give you like a card or a play mat for just entering.
Oh yeah.
And even my first tournament, Dan, I went 2-7.
You won too.
I won too. I had a blast.
Did you play a meta deck? Did you play a meta deck?
I was playing Burn.
Of course you're playing Burn.
But Dan, at this point, at that time, Jeskai Control was getting a lot bigger, and I think Jeskai has a really good matchup against Burn.
Okay.
So they have a lot of good stuff.
What were you playing Modern? Was that
I was
the format
playing
you were
Modern.
playing? Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Very cool.
But Star City Games, great place. Go check one out for sure.
What's the last thing you got listed here?
The last one we have are regionals and locals as well.
So see what's offered in your area. You've got your local game stores. See what kind of events they're putting on. Reach out to them and then expand the distance of what you're looking for just a little bit more and just basically see what you've got in your area.
And these regionals as well, this is a place where you can actually get an invite to one of the bigger tournaments.
Yeah, right. That's true. Yep. All right. One of the last things that we're going to talk about here, we're just going to touch on this a little bit, but we kind of mentioned it before, but the lore, right? So we were, in doing this really deep dive into Magic, I had said, do we even need to talk about this, Jim? And he's like, well, you know what? I think we really should because it is kind of a big part of the game. Not so much like for me personally, it's not really what I'm into. However, I mean, my mind was blown just by talking about these colors, and it really is kind of a fabric of the lore of this game.
Exactly.
So
the identity behind these colors is what is built. Yeah.
So like with every set, there's just they have all of these new stories that they craft that really push the set. And we've talked about like the with each card, you've got the story that the card is telling. But what specific story are these cards telling? Well, they've actually crafted this whole universe, this whole story behind this entire set, like the Eldraine set, right? So with Eldraine, it's Magic's take on all these fairy tales. Well, they have their own story behind that entire set. You've got Will and Rowan Kenrith, their journey. Garuk. And then so Will and Rowan's dad is Kenrith. I love that card, Kenrith. It's just there's so much there. There's so much storytelling that is there. I mean, we talk about how important storytelling is to tabletop. Storytelling is a huge aspect of Magic the Gathering. And in the lore is where you get the majority of the storytelling. Like the cards themselves tell so many stories, but I mean, they write books. They've got all these books that are behind all of their sets, right? So check it out. Like if you are into storytelling, I bought the Eldraine one. I bought that book. I read through that. The War of the Spark storyline is amazing to me. I love that storyline.
If you guys can, go check out the War of the Spark cinematic.
Yes,
that video. It's about like 3 minutes long.
We will link that. It
is amazing.
We will link that in the show notes for this in the description. We will check that. We will link that to
here. I actually think they're also working on a Netflix series.
They are working on a Netflix series about that. So, all right. Well, I mean, I think with that, we're kind of gonna wrap it up here. We're kind of pushing 2 hours here.
Honestly, I ain't surprised.
Dude,
We
but
knew we could
honestly,
do it.
guys, I mean, if you can't tell, we enjoy Magic.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not going to stop talking about Magic is not going to take over everything that we do. However, Magic is kind of a big part of our lives and why we got into tabletop as a hobby. And we think it's important, but we understand Magic is not for everybody. We know that.
Yep.
And that's why we're not going to just push Magic all of the time. But we do enjoy it. And honestly, we want to share the things that we enjoy. Magic is one of the things that we enjoy.
Yep.
So we are interested. How did you get into Magic? If you play Magic, let us know how you first got into it.
Do you guys also hate Vampire Nighthawk? Do you guys know about that one?
Do you hate Dimir Rogues just as much as I do? If you played Standard in the past year, tell me.
Or maybe
or maybe you love Dimir Rogues.
Yeah. Or maybe you're sick of seeing mono red aggro everywhere on Arena.
Are you? Yeah, seriously, let us know. Send us an email. We've got an email, hobbiesandhappiness@gmail.com.
Yep.
Let us know some of your stories, what you love about Magic, what you hate about Magic, because I'm sure there's the big thing that I do not like about Magic is lands. The land system I do not like, but I mean, for a game that spawned an entire, basically, genre of games, I mean, I think it's pretty much stood the test of time.
It's the original.
It really does. So, I mean, there's plenty of other games out there that really have improved upon the formula, for sure. But Magic isn't going anywhere.
Most likely. Most likely.
So, also, Discord. If you are on Discord, jump on our Discord server. We have it linked in the show notes, in the descriptions. Check us out. Come talk to us over on Discord. We have a lot of things that we just want to connect with our community over. Check us out there.
Keep up with the latest news. Come talk to us.
We post a lot of new games that are on our Discord channel. Kickstarter. We have a Kickstarter channel. If we find new games that we think we'd enjoy, or you guys would enjoy, we post it over there as well. All right, Jim, how can people find you on the internet? Where are you located?
Well, I'm also on Discord. Our Discord, I guess. But aside from that, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Morgan, HNH.
Yep, I'm also over on the Discord as well. I'm the one who posts pretty much all of the time. Sometimes I've been told I post too much, but you know what? I like to get the community involved, let the community know what's going on. I like to view myself as a community driver. But other than that, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter, you can find me at _DG Campbell. And then over on Instagram, you can find me at daniel.g.campbell. Again, all of those will be linked in the show notes. So with that, if you enjoyed this episode, let us know. We're going to be talking about more Magic here and there. But if you liked it, if you didn't like it, let us know. But if you've never played Magic, at least read that article. Check it out. If nothing else, it's a good story to read.
It's a great read.
It's a really great read. So with that, thanks for joining us, and we will see you all next week.
Have a good one, guys.
All right. See you, everybody.
Take care.